Evening. Thank you all for coming and welcome to the Upper Allen Township Park and Recreation Board meeting for April 23rd, 2025. I'd like to ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time I'd like to ask for a roll call, starting to my left and going all the way through the audience, please.
Dan Harrison.
Jeff Williams.
Lauren Sanker.
Christina Dryden.
Jessica Martini.
Sir.
Rick Castranio. Eric Fairchild.
Thank you. Everybody got the minutes? You've had a chance to look at them. Are there any changes or corrections? I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. All right, it's time for my announcements. First thing I want to say is it is National Administrative Professional Day. And I want to thank Alexis for being willing to take an evening away from her family and try to get the minutes from all the ramblings that go on from up here. So thank you very much. You do a wonderful job. I don't know if you looked at the website, seen some of the postings, but you have a gift and we appreciate it very much. I did attend the baseball opening Sunday before last. That is one of the great events, even if you don't have a kid playing ball, to go and see people using every aspect of, in this case, Fisher Park. Playground, the kids that are involved. My pastor parked in my driveway, so I got brownie points. I just thought it was absolutely great. And we did have both state representatives there, Mr. Kuhn and Ms. Delosier. And then we met again in a week on a Saturday, last Saturday, for softball's opening, which is also a really neat event. It's really well done. I'm not sure we all appreciate just how much time our parents and volunteers and our coaches put into this, but these are wonderful programs. I have really enjoyed living in Upper Allen Township and being through this committee, work with them a little bit. I would say in general, driving through some of the parks when the weather got nice, I've seen something I have not seen before as much. That's little children, toddlers under the age of 3, particularly at Winding Hill North and at Friendship Park, using the play equipment, which is really a lot of it's designed for 5 and up. Just doesn't really make any difference these days. And if you get a chance, go out and check out how our parks are being used. Now, I need to go back and mention something that's important. These are streamed. These meetings are streamed now. This meeting will be live streamed via Zoom for those who wish to attend virtually. A recording of the session will be made available on YouTube after the fact. And it's very easy to access that on the township website, uatwp.org. All right. Do we have public comments? I believe I have something from a college class. Are you both from the college? Okay, do you want to come up and say something? No, okay. It's okay. All right. Well, welcome. We don't bite much. Thanks for coming. And where do you go to school? Pardon me? Wonderful. Welcome again. Do we have anything from the commissioners right now?
No, just briefly to let you know that we did act favorably on the paving contract for the year, which included paving some trails in Winding Hill North.
Wonderful. By the way, some of us met at Generations Park before this meeting to do a walk around, and it really is starting to looking good, folks. And I won't step on Chad's announcements later, but we're letting people in and they're going to enjoy it. Tim?
Yes, as we continue through our 175th year anniversary, I just want to let you all know that we've had two great speakers so far. The next one is going to be on May 12th, right here at the Township Building. Doors will open at 6:30 with refreshments from the Women's Club. And then the speaker will begin at 7, and it's Kevin Shaw, who's going to talk about the history of the Lincoln Cemetery. And please follow the website, like Jeff said, at uatwp.org for all of the rest of the events that we have this summer and into the fall. Another announcement is that we are going to be launching our Bandwango Park Mobile Pass on May 12th. This is a pass that you use to get into every one of our 14 parks. You get points, you get prizes. So what that's going to look like is something you download onto your phone, and you'll be able to utilize that beginning on May 12th. There'll be more information sent out to residents, and the Park and Rec Board, along with the Board of Commissioners, will get to preview that beginning on Friday for a couple of weeks prior to the 12th.
Thank you. We do have a couple other folks here from the public. Sir, did you want to talk now, or is this something later in the agenda?
Later.
All right, sir. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Chad, you're up.
Yep, just a couple of things. Grantham Playground is in. We did open it. There's still a fence to go around it yet, so that'll go in probably in a couple of weeks, but it is open and accessible. The pond project should be going out to bid next week, and tentatively will be on the second meeting in May for the BOC to award the bid if it comes back right. And then hopefully that project starts at the beginning of June and will most likely go into October. And we will be renewing our IBCCES Certified Autism Center this year. So we have to go through the renewal process every 2 years, where our staff will go through the training again.
Good. Thank you. I went down to Grantham today and it really looks good. There's nothing like a brand new shiny play equipment. And it was so bright out today, it literally shined. Do we have a plan to hydro seed or do something to cover all of the bare earth right now?
Yeah, we got a little bit of cleanup to do, and
Okay,
obviously it's going to be under construction for the rest of the year. So a lot of it's going to be dug back up.
got it. Thank you. All right. Eddie,
I don't have anything for this section. Everything I have is further down the agenda.
all right. Tiffany is unable to be here tonight, but she did send a report. And March is one of those bridge months for recreation programming. It's not really winter, it's not quite spring, but they had Cardio Light. They had an AARP Smart Driver program, which is a real benefit because if you take that, you get 25% off of your car insurance rates. They took a trip to the flower show. They have Pilates. One of the things that really hit me was a night in Paris dance, a family event. Probably 20 years ago, you started to see daddy-daughter dances, and then, mother-son dances. And, things have kind of evolved where now it involves the whole family. And they had 174 people in attendance. So once again, there's some other programs here, but thank you, Tiffany. I'm a program guy. I think they do a wonderful job. Nick can't be here, but he did send something to Chad and myself that that both Friendship and Rose Garden look good. Friendship is packed, folks, with the nicer weather. I drive through there because I live close by. And it's a real joy to see how many people are, of all ages, are using the park. Country Estates look fine. There are a couple guys there that were mowing when I stopped by, and they obviously knew what they were doing. I want to compliment you for those two guys. One guy's looked like Santa Claus, but they really knew what they were doing, and they were not slacking. They had no idea who I was. Christina? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Trying to skip me, huh?
Oh, yeah, I did that again.
Skipping
I'm
me.
good at that.
I checked in at Grantham today. It is so amazing to go to the parks right now because everything is popping. The new stuff was shiny. It was so shiny. And the amazing thing about Grantham is that it kind of feeds two institutions right there, the Dance Academy and Messiah Kids. That's who I generally see there, or people fishing. Those are the three main groups. And, you know, we aren't getting a lot of fishermen, but the turtles are bonkers right now. I don't even understand what was going on there, but there was a lot of turtle action. Even though there's hardly any water. I know what was going on there, but yes, the terrain is pretty bumpy, and, you know, we're making the best of it because it's going to be bumpy for a long time. The new playground looks amazing. I did survey the children there and they all agreed it was great. The mom loved it. She said the week before, she admitted the week before when it was not there and she had kids and no playground, she was kind of freaking out. But I said, you know, this stuff really does go pretty quickly when we get new stuff. So she was really grateful for how quickly that happened. So it's really promising. It looks really great, and the future of that park is so bright. So it's looking really good, and everything is temporary, and that's pretty obvious. So yeah, when the rubber gets replaced and it's not the I assume the mulch. Are we putting the rubber in there at some
So
point?
we are keeping that one tan bark only because I had a fear of the rubber getting into the pond.
Yes, but will we put in like an edging around it?
The fence will be the edge. There'll be a
yeah.
4-foot fence around it in a couple weeks.
Can it be a thicker fence somehow that keeps more of the rubber in? I say this only because of how quickly the dips from the swings become holes.
Yeah.
The kids really know how to trench that out. They're already deep.
Yeah, so with that was put in about 13 inches thick, so it will settle and get
Yeah.
a little lower. And then our guys, when they get down there, like empty trash and stuff, they normally rake it back in, but
Okay, okay. Okay, that was the only thing I was really noticing. There were, like, the slide, it literally fit 4 teenagers, as I was leaving.
4?
4, in case you're wondering, which is probably 4 adults as well. So, it was jumping, so it looked great.
Well, I was down there today. I did talk to a lady who was walking her dog. It's a pug. We have a pug, so we bonded. And she comes every day and she's very excited about it. The point for staff is that they had noticed the sign you put up explaining what was going to be happening. So I think that has some effect for people that are down there using the park on a regular basis or even casual. It's right there for them. So good job with that. All right. Sorry about that. I skipped you again. Didn't I do that before? Yeah. Christina?
Now I'll go. So Simpson, amazing, so busy as the weather warms up. And then Trout Run looks great. And the only question I had about Trout Run is when the sign will go up or be replaced.
we have them, so soon.
Good, but it looks good.
All right. Jessica?
Everything looks good.
Well, that's the best report we got. Thank you. Audience appreciates that. Jason said everything was fine. Dan?
Yeah, everything looks great at Whining Hill.
with the weather warming up, lots of usage, softball, basketball, pickleball, you name it. We were away for the softball opening day, but, the pictures, it looked well attended, really nice showcase of the park. So looks great.
Back to the dog park, a couple of notes on that. The number one request is for more permanent shade, which has been expressed to staff for budget considerations. Now that the lease is extended through 2045 with the church, maybe that's more amenable to commissioners. Word of mouth is selling this place. We don't even have to try anymore. There is a vacancy on the on the dog park committee board. There is someone that is interested that goes on a regular basis. And, we'll take care of that. I talked to one gentleman who is not from the township, but he's a state policeman. And I hear over and over again, every time I go down there, that there are folks that come from another municipality because of the system that the Board of Commissioners has approved for this by having every dog confirmed for their vaccinations through their vet when they apply for registration. So the park looks great. I had multiple praise comments from folks about what Parks does. I know we have one guy down there on poop patrol. Not the best job, but he knows everybody. They know him. So he's kind of our frontline dog park guy, I guess. And now we'll move to old business, which we have none. Eddie, you want to talk about events?
Yeah, if I can have you guys look up at the board, Chad's gonna go through several of the flyers of all of the events that we
Are
have.
there some of these for the public? Would y'all like to have one of these? Y'all could prove you came. Thank you.
So the first one here is one pager, kind of a quick look of all of the events that we're having for the year with quick descriptions of them. Starting this Friday, it's our first Food Truck Friday. Just like we did before, it's going to run through October with skipping September because of the Fall Fest. The second page of this will have all of the food trucks that will be there on each date. It's growing pretty quickly. We're having every other day different food trucks reaching out, wanting to be part of our events, part of the Food Truck Fridays, part of the Fall Fest. So we have started a kind of a wait list of food trucks for just events that we're having throughout the township.
Excuse me, Eddie, are we charging the food truck people to come?
No.
Okay.
Generations grand opening, it will be May 3rd, 9 a.m. to 12. There'll be 2 food trucks there. And Chad will have a couple more details about this one when it's his turn. Tree Tuesdays was a pretty big hit last year with Friendship and Winding Hill North. We had Kona and Sarah's Creamery this year. So we think they're going to be a big hit just like they were last year. A lot of great feedback from a lot of the residents, a lot of people at the parks. They are doing 11:30 to 1 this year. That seems to be kind of the sweet spot there where the kids aren't really going home for their naps yet. So a lot of times they show up a little bit early, stay a little bit later, depending on how many people are at the park. But they will be, second page. No, they will be, just like last year, alternating from Friendship Park to Winding Hill Park North between both trucks. So there'll be a truck at each park.
They're doing fairly good business. That's why they're coming back.
Yeah.
They're doing well.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're doing very well. We're partnering with H2L Studio for a yoga in the park day. It's going to be a quick event, starting at 8 a.m. at Fisher Park, one of the baseball fields. The event on Facebook had, I think, 153 interested people, as last time I checked, with how many people registered? Right, like 14 actually registered, but I'm sure people would show up and just do it anyways. It's a free event. We did ask for them to click on that QR code so they can register, just so we know how many people are coming. Also, there will be a food truck, Orbit Bowls and Bites, from 9 to 11. Also working on Art in the Park, June 29th from 10 to 1 at Whiting Hill North. There'll be kids painting contest and several other painting events at the actual Art in the Park. Third annual Fall Fest, along with the 175th celebration. Same thing as last year, games, hay rides, live music, all of the same things with, this year we're adding the history tent along with the drone show and a couple other small additions that we have put in. Petting zoo as well, with free pony rides. And I think to feed them, I think it was $1 or something like that. Yeah, $1 to feed the animals, but the pony rides will be free. So we think that's going to be a pretty big hit. Vintage baseball tournament the day after the Fall Fest. It's Saturday, September 27th at Whiting Hill North. It starts at 11 a.m. There'll be concessions there, so ballpark types of foods, and it'll be a 3-team round robin. The details for the tree lighting event are all set for November 30th, 5 to 6:30. This year we cut it back half of an hour, only because last year after we lit the tree, everyone kind of disappeared. So instead of 5 to 7, we're doing 5 to 6:30 this year. Once again, Santa Claus will be there. This year, I think we're going to have him sitting in a specific area, kind of just for photo ops and stuff like that, instead of just walking around. And yeah, same thing. Food trucks and music and so on and so forth. That's it for my part.
So you think you're in parks, but now you're knee deep in recreation program?
Yeah.
It's great. Tree lighting last year was really well done, both of y'all.
We
And,
do have 2 other events that I didn't get flyers made for yet. So we are partnering with Extra Life, who fundraises for the Children's Miracle Network Hospital through Penn State. So we're going to do a field day, July 26th, with all kinds of different sports. We have so far Mechanicsburg softball and Keystone as volunteers. We're going to reach out to the other local groups too, but basically just a bunch of pickup games. Kids can come, adults too, and do some of fundraising for Children's Miracle Network. And then the same group, we're going to do an event here in December in this room as a game night over a weekend. They'll have like Xbox and stuff on the screens, a bunch of board games. So
Outstanding.
Who
Well-
makes these flyers? Who are we using for this? It's really well done. I'm just curious.
I make them on Canva.
You really make them? That's impressive.
Eddie, wow,
That's amazing.
wow. Amazing. Any questions on any of this? Any questions from the audience on any of the? I didn't point at you. You don't have to look away. It's okay. I've been there. Okay, DCED grant.
Yep, I'm gonna touch on it, and then if Tim has anything to add. So we're looking at going after the DCD grant for 250,000 of unmatched money. We've talked about this trout run plan multiple times throughout the past couple years. We'd like to try to write the grant for this. I'm gonna show a sketch plan that was done a couple years ago. This is over $1 million project, so our plan is to try to cut this down and get access from Trout Run Park to the development, possibly leaving a connection point for the Willows if they would like to add on for the new tavern. So we're going to try to drastically scale this down, get it under $500,000, hopefully, that we can kind of throw some money with the match. The grant is closed by May 31st. So Tim's going to take this to the board and ask the resolution. We have Jason looking into it with CS Davidson to see if we can kind of get this scaled back a little bit. But our hope is to go back after this and at least get a starting point that maybe we can attach to in the future.
Cool. Comments?
Something bad.
Nobody ever has anything to say because y'all do such a good job. By the time it gets to us, it's
Tim
done.
reminded me there is a 15% match, so
How much?
15%. So
Only 15?
yeah,
And by the way, the drone show, nice job on that. I'd love to be the first in the area to do a big drone show at our 175th anniversary. All right, now we're going to talk about Generations plans and the grand opening. And what we're going to do is let staff present everything, and then we may have some comments. But we'll wait till everything is up there and all our information is gathered.
I think Ken had a question about this maybe. Oh,
About Trout Run Park yesteryear. I know there was some interest from Side University in their time. They might do good resource. Maybe.
I know they've been involved with us in the past for the Grantham Pond in particular. Is that correct?
yes.
I mean, we do, and we did talk to Messiah on Generations Park as one of the groups we talked to, or the consultant talked to. That'd be great.
I'm going to start with the opening. So the grand opening is next Saturday, 9 to 12. We're going to do a small ribbon cutting with Ken, hopefully, at 9. And then the whole board and the Park and Rec board. And then our plan is to have stations set up throughout the park with some points of interest with the Park and Rec board members volunteering at those stations to kind of gauge public input. There's a trail there that's a little under a mile right now with a stone access road that goes up the middle to walk the park. As Eddie mentioned, there will be a couple food trucks there as well. So as of now on Facebook, there's about 300 people interested. So I'm thinking we're
Really?
going to get a decent turnout as long as the weather cooperates. Okay, so for the plan, so this plan is basically the same one that we presented last year, that we did change the colors a little bit just to identify some of the areas. A couple key things that were changed from just some input we got last time we showed it. 2 of the larger parking lots were removed.
So which larger parking lots were
So
removed?
last time we showed this at the Park and Rec meeting, there was a parking lot. This was basically a double parking lot here.
Right.
And then there was another one that kind of went in here. So that took our paved parking spaces from 304 down to 223 that would be paved. And then the other plan also showed for some grass parking up in here, which is still obviously an option, or wherever we see fit if we need it in the future. So we got the plan recolored for a couple reasons. All this white is what is currently installed at the park. So it's this outside loop trail that goes down along the outside of the right side of the property if you're looking at it from Lisburn, and then down to the front. And then there's currently a stone access road that comes up through the middle that you can kind of connect to for that. We do have an LSA grant out for $1 million unmatched grant that would connect this existing trail here down along the left side of the property, and then basically bring it down and connect it back out front so the whole exterior of the park would have trails. Just a couple key points of the plan itself. If it were built out to this is a conceptual plan. We took the ideas from the Dirk and Edson master plan. We asked CS Davidson to engineer them to basically give us good traffic flow, set us up for infrastructure, sewer, water, just everything that makes sense for if and when there's future amenities. Like the trail system now, there's some conduits under, so if and when we do bathrooms, we don't have to dig trails back up. So some of the key points of what's shown on the plan, there would be 2.6 miles of paved trails if they were all paved. There would be a total of 3.32 miles of trails if some of these, like this trail up here is unimproved. So basically it's just a dirt grass trail that was just kind of graded and then we'll mow it. Same with some of these trails that go through the meadows. So that kind of gives us some more trail footage, but they're just mown grass trails. The total green space for the park is 83.41%. So this plan's only calling for 17% of impervious coverage. There would be 13 acres of meadows and about 23 acres of grass that we would mow. And then the other acreage is either woods or stormwater infrastructure or meadows that are already existing, or the couple acres that would be impervious. That's pretty much all I have, other than the amenities, like I said, are the same from the Dirk and Edson plan. Our plan is to have the grand opening, get people out to the park, get some input at the park, and then also do a public input session at the next meeting to go in May to go over the things discussed at the park and any ideas other people have after visiting the park. And then from there, we will start discussing if we want to do anything budget-wise for next year.
Comments? Well, you all are easy.
Will this drawing be available when we're there on Saturday?
Yes, so I'm going to use this drawing to actually make maps to provide to the public, because my plan is to kind of give a route down this outside trail loop. And then we're going to try to put as many stations as we can on paved surfaces, but obviously we have some areas down here that you're going to have to get off the beaten path for. We are planning on taking our utility vehicles down there in case anybody has any mobility challenges and would like to see those parts of the park.
Well, I have to say, walking the site was very pleasant today. What is basically a construction area in some areas, when you put in your stormwater management, grass is recovering, it's getting green again. You can really start to see what it's going to look like. And that was very encouraging. So I'm looking forward to the grand opening. I know Alexis and Tim, you'll be pushing that because we'd like to get as many people out there as we can. And, we know folks are probably sneaking in, walking around now anyway, but the paths that are in, they really look good. You can take a stroller, a wheelchair, walk 3 people across, a bike in a very safe manner. So anybody else have any questions? Sir, did you want to make comments tonight? Did you want to talk to us? Okay, sir, could I ask you to come up and, not because I want you on TV, I just want to if you hit the button so the light turns green, tell us who you are and where you live, please.
Jack Shambaugh, 1236 McCormick Road.
Yes, sir.
How do I get into the park without crawling in my car and driving 2 miles?
So there will be where the existing drives are right now, like where the driveway for the house was along McCormick Road. We're
Have a
gonna
chain across them?
Yeah, we're gonna take those chains down and then leave that open. We are gonna put something there so cars can't drive in, but you'll definitely be able to walk in both those entrances.
Can we walk through the fields and stuff, or just the trails or blacktop trails?
So our plan right now is to mow about 10 feet around the existing trail. We are gonna keep a farmer contracted to do the rest of the property to keep the maintenance costs low. So while there is The grass will be higher at times. There's no restrictions on the rest of the property. Our crew's out there now driving every 5 feet, looking for holes, filling them in. So trying to make it as safe as we can. We are going to try to mow the trail that we put in the LSA grant for the opening, just so people can walk that and see kind of where that would take you to the best that we can. We're not going to pay the engineer to come out and show us exactly, but I'm going to take the map and a mower and drive around.
But there will be large meadows. You can walk right through the middle of them if you want. It might be knee deep.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be doing it. So you can pretty much go where you want in this park.
Reason I'm asking about entering the park, there's so many people walk the McCormick Road out of Lisburn Estate and no way to get into the park.
Right. Yep, so they'll have 2 access points down at where the old house was,
Okay.
so.
Very wide, so you can take hopefully not a car, but a
Yeah.
wheelchair or something. You're gonna have no problem getting into this park. The consultant at the get-go, that was one of the things that they mentioned, that there should be access on McCormick Road.
Yeah.
And one of my points was, there are folks, they're gonna keep walking along the creek. That's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
they've done it for, some of them for decades, I imagine. But this is another chance to take a little loop or get into that park. But we're gonna make it accessible in all ways.
Is dogs allowed in the park?
Dogs are allowed in all of our parks on lead,
Yeah,
6-foot
sure,
lead.
sure.
Absolutely. Probably take my dog, but he's a pug. He'd poop out after a quarter mile.
I don't have any, so
No.
thank you.
You want to borrow mine?
No.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any other comments on Generations Park?
Mr. Williams, I have a
Yeah.
comment,
Sir,
a suggestion that you really allow the access from McCormick Road at both ends. I understand in the middle, I mean, that's fine. But at both ends, just some kind of hole in the fence or something that people could, exit, enter from McCormick Road, sooner rather than later if they're walking their dog or whatever.
Yeah, we can move one of them fence posts back. That should be able to allow access.
And what's going to be the policy on like motorized bikes in general and motorized bikes? on the
So
trail?
right now, they are not allowed through our current ordinance. But enforcement obviously is not always the easiest because normally even when we call, by the time the police get there, they're gone. So
Is that for the motorized bikes or just bikes in general?
motorized,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
and
regular
and
bikes,
scooters.
yeah,
regular bikes would be allowed.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Encouraged.
Mhm.
That's why the paths are
Right, I
so
think there's that
wide.
expectation, people want that. I just didn't know about the motorized bikes.
Is bicycle allowed in the park too on the trail?
Yeah, they're 8 feet wide. There's plenty of room. That's why we did it that way. That's a standard for the township. You go to any of our parks, you can take a stroller and have a bike go by you without you having to dump in the grass. You know,
You said you want to meet the PD halfway through the park.
I'm sorry?
I just didn't want to meet the PD halfway through the park.
Okay. Any other comments? I think we are done, ladies and gentlemen. We are adjourned.